for service on the battlefield and beyond. 3 Bravo.
All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm Liam Cogan. This is the 3 Bravo podcast, and today we're going to be doing a veterans benefits breakdown. The benefit we're going to be talking about today is SkillBridge. So if you know it or you have not heard of it, this is going to be for active duty military. So if that is not you, but you know active duty military, you still may want to pass this along, share it to some active guys or people who are thinking about joining the military, because this can be this benefit is like the VA home loan or the GI Bill. This is, in my opinion, this is like a recruitment level benefit that a lot of people don't talk about, and it kind of just gets swept under the rug, just like VRE. If you're not sure what VRE is, Veteran Readiness and Employment, go back in our episodes. The very first 3 Bravo podcast was about VRE, so go check that out. SkillBridge is going to be a relatively short breakdown because it's a very simple on execution, but we can kind of talk about a couple things that most people don't know about the SkillBridge path. So let's get into it. The benefit itself, very easily put, is a 6-month paid internship through the military. So when you're 180 days out of military service, you can use SkillBridge, which is a DoD-approved program, to jet set out of the military and go get some legitimate real-world civilian experience. While you're doing this, you can get your, civilian life squared away. You can start moving your family. You can get a lot of really important transition objectives done, right? Your transition is going to have many objectives. Whether you satisfy those objectives or not will kind of lay the groundwork for how well your transition goes. SkillBridge is going to be one of those things where if you don't have, so for me, I was in, I had so much leave built up, accrued, that and because of COVID, so I got out right after COVID was kind of a thing, and then they let you keep like extra leave, and I had a couple different use cases because of having a soft background where I did have all this extra leave. So I just decided to sell my leave back, and I was in a training command. They didn't need to use me. I basically skated free and clear. So I didn't use SkillBridge. However, for soft personnel, so Special Operations Forces, anyone affiliated with Special Operations Forces in a direct component, I would advise you to go check out Care Coalition. It is just like SkillBridge, where it is a 6-month paid internship where you go online, you look at different, you can basically go on the SkillBridge website. We'll have the link in the description, and you can see what their current jobs are. So all these different companies, Intel, all the big ones are going to have positions for SkillBridge interns. And then you can even find smaller companies. You can go work on a farm in Colorado. You could come work for me as an intern and learn how to podcast and work in military media. There are tons of people working the SkillBridge program. And the cool thing about it is it's a win-win, both sides, right? The DoD gets you off their books early. They're helping you transition. They're helping their vets get that 6 months of civilian time and some depressure time post-military before you start working for a job. You could potentially get lined up for a job. So the SkillBridge program doesn't guarantee a job at the end of it. That is up to the employer, and they don't even have to. You can get into the program without offering a position after the internship. However, your job is going to be picked less, or your internship is going to be picked less. So for 6 months, you can go get civilian tradecraft. You can boost your resume. You can settle your civilian affairs. So if you're going to move, getting your kids into a new school, settling some bank accounts, all that kind of good stuff. You're working on your medical to get out. You have to turn in your gear. at the same time, you're working an intern position, and it's within the guidelines of SkillBridge and Care Coalition. So remember, Care Coalition is the same thing as SkillBridge. It's for SOF. It's just a little bit better because it's a little more relaxed. Doing these things, they're not going to be overly demanding of you. They're going to teach you a trade craft. Yes. They're going to check in with you. Yes. You're going to have like objectives. Yes. Because they want to see if they want to hire you. But the real great part about this program is that, yes, if you do a bad job, they can fire you and you go get sent back to your command, which would look bad on you. And I'm sure you'd be serving some watches or whatever. But the real intent is to just help veterans transition, see if you're a good fit for their proposed company, and then potentially field you into their company in a good position, or just move on, take the experience. You don't have to take a job with them either. So there's just so much flexibility in it. And the entire time you're getting paid your regular military pay. Now, if you're a SOF member and you're doing this for 6 months, at a certain point, if you haven't re-upped on your dive qual, your hazardous duty pay, your skydive pay, like if you haven't, your jump pay, if you haven't stayed up on that, you will lose those. So maybe hop on some jumps, get some dives in while you're doing it, stay up to date, stay qualified, and continue getting your fully maxed out pay. So this strictly applies to active duty military. If you're a spouse, if you know a spouse, if you're a vet and you know active duty, really, really try to spread the word on this benefit. It's crazy how many people aren't aware of SkillBridge while they're trying to make these career plans. Because if you think about your path as a college student, yeah, it may seem a little hazy, but that's just because you're drunk the whole time. You have a very clear laid out path. You have semesters, you have classes, and you have degrees. And those degrees lead you to certain jobs or use cases. And yeah, there can be certain gray areas at the end, but everybody generally knows you're looking at an entry-level position. You're looking here, you're looking there. Transitioning out of the military is far more confusing. You've been institutionalized, and you have really no clue of what's going on the whole time you're there. You're just go, chugging rain, energy drinks, crushing dip, drinking, going out, like the whole 9 yards, and you don't have any time to kind of collect yourself, reset, and think. And there's just like crazy amounts of stress that are involved. In this scenario, most veterans do not know that they can plan for SkillBridge, like that their last 6 months they can use SkillBridge. A lot of veterans know that they can sell back their leave. They don't know how it works, but not a lot of vets know about SkillBridge. Not a lot of military folks know about SkillBridge. So pass the word. That's the very simple breakdown of what it is, what you get out of it, what it'll do for you. Now, the other part that you're going to be desperate to know that is incredibly simple is the process. So to make yourself a lot like VRE, where you need to make yourself look like a good candidate, instead of looking like a good candidate to the VRE program, the VRE admins, the counselors, you need to look like a good applicant to your command, okay? Because they don't have to say that you can go do SkillBridge. If you've been a turd for 10 years and you basically haven't earned the right to go get this extra little bit of hooyah, this extra little bit of training and get paid, and kind of, it's a way bigger slack off situation. You'll see that the civilian work pace is a lot different. You can make of it what you want. You can elevate the work pace, of many veterans do. What I'm saying is, when you get into a SkillBridge program, you're not going to be working as hard as you're working your current job in the military. That being said, your command does not have to let you do it. So the way you knock this out the smart way, go to the SkillBridge website, link in the description. Look at the companies that are available and pick one and literally map out a life plan around it. It doesn't have to genuinely reflect your life. The second you leave the military, your last commanding officer cannot do dick to you. Okay, so if you tell them, hey, I really want to go to Intel because for sure I'm going to be building computers. Like there's just no chance I'm not. And then the second, like the day you get out of that internship and you get out of the military and you don't want to build computers, that's fine. Things change. People change. In the military, you're not allowed to change. You're not allowed to do anything. But in the real world, you can. So don't get all wrapped around the axle on making like this big long life plan and getting everything absolutely right and really nailing it. Find a company that you want to work for with a skill that may have something to do with that you're generally interested in. Find the position, articulate on a piece of paper, in an email, however, why this is something that you want to do, and then start working that up your chain of command. So do not just go to your commanding officer and give them this piece of paper unless you have a very intimate relationship or you're, the SEA, right? Work this up the chain of command, talk to your senior enlisted, and then eventually you will be sitting down with your CO, and you're going to be your commanding officer, and you're going to be talking about, why do I need to do this? And this is why. Here's why I want to do it. I know I sent you an email, but here's my real plan. So if you can't find a company that you want to work with in SkillBridge, you can use a company called Headlamp. Okay. I'm not sure if there are a few of these out there. This is the one that I know. You could also hit me up and I could help you out. What you're going to need to do is reach out to, like, if you want to, let's say you want to work for me. Okay. You can reach out to me and I will get you to my SkillBridge application and you will be my intern. That's a real thing. If you want to reach out and you want to work with me, please, by all means. But if you want to, if you want to go be a ski instructor, Dan, you know who I'm talking about. If you want to go be a ski instructor or a mountain biking instructor and they're not in the SkillBridge program, but you've talked to them and they're interested, they just don't have the manpower to fill out the SkillBridge sheet. Now, if you've ever seen the SkillBridge application sheet for a business, it's insane. It's like, I think 30 to 40 pages or more. You have 3 hours to fill it out. And if you don't fill it out perfectly, like if you don't satisfy all of their requirements, like you haven't read through all of their literature, you have to do it again. If you stop, you will time out at 3 hours and start over. Nothing saves. It is awful. So when companies run these programs, you have to figure out how to run these interns, what to teach them, where to send them, who to put them under, and how to kind of onboard them into your company and potentially, speed up the process if you're going to want to in-process them at the end of the internship to be a part of the company. There are a lot of logistics to it. They're not just being lazy. If there's a company that you want to work with, there is a company called Headlamp that I believe they charge the company a nominal fee to build this program for them, and then they give them the program, and then you get to be their first person to do it. So I'll put the name of their company in the description as well. It's a good deal to do something like that. Now, Care Coalition is way easier. If you want to intern for me through Care Coalition, that was way easier to set up. They're really easy to talk to. It's a very chill thing. A lot more soft than regular military. But at the end of the day, you can figure out how to get a company, or, if your dad owns a company, absolutely, he can fill that out. You can help him fill it out. It's going to be some work. But this is big boy time. You're getting out of the military. You got to go be a civilian. You're in charge of yourself. That's it. There's no SEA who's going to be like, oh, buddy, you didn't file your taxes this year. We're going to save you. You have to do things yourself. With SkillBridge, you can figure out how to get different companies in there. If you have a buddy's like you want to go work for a buddy, you can do the same thing. With that, if you get shut down, so a frustrating part of this program is that, if you've been a gray man or, your company, you're probably a Marine, if you get denied your SkillBridge application, this shit happens, right? There are a lot of military hard asses who are like, no chance, you're leaving us, so screw you. That attitude exists in spades in the military. What you can do there are 3 people that you can go to. Okay, so you have a TAP counselor. So that's your transition assistance program. That is what you'll be going through. It's mandatory. If they don't put you through that, they're going to be in big trouble. So if you are having an issue with this, send me a message. I can help you with that as well. You will be going through your TAP advisor. So you have someone who's going to be putting on these TAP program meetings. You can go to them. and you can go to your career counselor at your command, and you can essentially say, hey, here is why I need to do this program to be mentally healthy, physically healthy, and overall make my transition successfully. This is why it's a danger to me to not do it. And if you build that use case with those two people and you say, can you support me, and write me a letter of recommendation citing why you think I should be able to go, send that to me, put those two together with your own. And then maybe even if you're not getting stopped at your immediate platoon leader, also grab that platoon leader and say, hey, here's the same thing. Please hit me up with this. You get that 3 stack of recommendation emails. You come back, hey, this is my plan. I know you said I couldn't do it. I thought I'd give you one more opportunity to give me the chance to go change my life. If you can't nail it at that point, chalk it up for a loss, sell your leave back if you can, and prepare yourself for your exit. Preparing yourself for your exit is getting ready to use the GI Bill VRE and getting ready for your medical disability examinations. If you need to know more about that, check in with us later. I'm about to do a veterans benefits breakdown on medical disability. But for all of you checking in, that was the SkillBridge breakdown. I'm Liam Cogan. This is the 3 Bravo podcast, and I'll catch you next time.